All right. I am live. I'm looking here on my laptop, so it's got a delay. So, anyways, got the chat on. If you are awake at this time and you would like to join me in chat, ask me what's going on, how things are going, give me a thumbs up. I've got 3 thumbs up already. Give me a thumbs up. That helps me out. That puts my videos up toward the top. The more thumbs up. Comments do the same. Of course, the watches also do the same. So here I am. I am in Kulit, Gataran, Philippines. If you don't know where that is, if you look at Luzon we're at the very top. 30-minute drive from the coast. So it's very, very way to the very top. The language here most likely is Ilocano. That is the language that's up here in Luzon. Of course, you can hear the roosters going. This is an agrarian society up here. It's farmland. That's what that means. It means these are all farmers here. And so you're going to have livestock. You're going to have carabao. You're going to have cows. I haven't seen any horses up here except in the city where they have a horse buggy rides. But we got a lot of ducks, chickens, pigs. Down at the end of the street, we have turkeys, geese. So this is farmland, and everybody here is farmers, and they're a little different than the city people. They're a little more laid back, a little more hardworking. They know how to survive off the land. Thing about city people, and this is city people everywhere, all over the world, is they don't know how to live off the land. They've lost how to do that. They buy all their food from a supermarket or a grocery store, and then they wouldn't know the first thing about what to do in order to survive, because what they get is from the grocery store, and that's all they know. These people here that I'm living among, these people know how to live off the land, and can survive off the land. So if for some reason, it hits the fan, if for some reason there's no electricity anywhere, so all the food is spoiled in the supermarkets, you got to know how to survive. And that's the good thing about this. Military training will teach you how to survive. If you pay attention to it and you learn, a soldier can't survive without a supermarket. Know what to look for, know what to eat, things like that. So, but anyways, I live here among these wonderful people, and so far they've just been very curious about me, wanting to know where I'm from, you know, what part of the United States, that kind of thing. Um, so it's been a great. So the first month here, and I would say this for any future expat that wants to come here and live in the Philippines. Make sure you got all of your ducks in order. In other words, make sure that you have everything done. I gave myself 2 weeks. That wasn't enough time. Um, 2 weeks is not enough time to get ready. So I gave myself 2 weeks from my job to the time I left. And again, just not enough time. If you're retiring here, there's a couple of things you can do. You can get a retirement visa, which you can do through the Philippine embassies in the United States, and they can set it up for you. There is a cost to it. Offhand, I can't tell you how much. But there are you know, there are other ways to retire here also. As a retirement visa or a permanent resident for retirement, you have to have a certain amount in your bank, and that's $10,000 minimum. If that is if like an early retirement, you know, age 60 and below. The second thing you can do is do a retirement with proof of income, such as Social Security benefits, and that will guarantee you a retirement here. The other one would be a 13A visa if you're married to a Filipina. It's basically a spousal visa. It allows you to come in and to stay because you are married to a Philippine citizen. Other way is just to do extended visas on your tourist visa and just keep extending them out. Eventually you're going to have to leave the country at least for a week and then come back. So, you know, but to keep extending can get expensive. For example, I think your first extension is like about 3,000 pesos, about $75. For a 2-month extension, it's going to be a little over $100. You know, so, and you got to keep a watch. If you're out here on a tourist, you got to keep a watch on that calendar to make sure that you don't overstay. If you overstay, you run the risk of getting blacklisted from the country where you're not allowed to come back. And even if you have a spouse here that you married and have not done your 13A visa, you can be blacklisted from the country. And then you're going to have to run into the issues of with the U.S. State Department, if you're a United States citizen, with the U.S. State Department to bring her over there if you happen to get blacklisted. One of the things you don't do is you don't insult Filipinos. This is their country. So don't bring your Western ways here thinking you're going to change them. It's not going to happen. It's you're the one that's going to change, or you're going to be very, very happy. Um, you got to do things the way they do them. You know, it's a foreigner coming in here trying to show them the foreigner ways. I mean, they'll look at it and they'll raise their eyebrow a little bit. Might be even a little curious, but tradition for thousands of years and ways of doing things that they've been doing for hundreds or even thousands of years. You're not going to change that. This is culture, this is tradition, this is the way things are done. And, you know, you can either sit around and stew, you know, in your anger, you know, get red in the face, start pulling your hair out and screaming, and then get blacklisted because you're being an idiot, or just chill. Things will get done, but they get done in Philippines. The food here is great. The food here is great. If you don't watch it, you can and you will gain weight. The food here is just absolutely great. So, and because I was already a little on the heavy side already when I got here, I decided I was just going to eat one plate. You know, no second helping, no third helpings, no fifth helpings, nothing like that. So it's one plate. And it's rice, vegetables, a lot of vegetables. And if there's fish, it'll be one fish. Or if it's chicken, it'll be a couple of pieces of chicken, or pork, a couple of pieces of pork. It just depends. But I try to eat it as healthy as I can and not so much on the plate. And I can tell here, I don't know if you can, but I can tell here, there's a little bit of hanging going on right there. Like I was telling my dad, you know, if this keeps up, I may end up with a turkey neck. So, in the face is always the first place you'll notice someone losing weight. It'll always be in the face, the neck area. So I'm starting to see a little bit there. Let's see. Hang on. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about this is basically my experiences here. Have your ducks in order when you come. You know, if you're only going to stay for a month or a couple of months with the visa extension, you don't really need to do all that. But if you're going to come and retire here, make sure that I got 3 people watching. Hit that thumbs up if you're watching. If you got a question over here on the, you know, go to the chat. Super chat is open so that you can donate to the cause if you'd like to. So, have your ducks in order. Have your paperwork done. Now, having 2 weeks to prepare, I didn't get all my paperwork done. So now it's a scramble. I can extend up to through April or even into May. And then I would have to leave the country for about a week and come back. Make sure that you have everything. If you're going on Social Security, make sure your Social Security is taken care of. You can do your Social Security here. If you are younger than 62 and you turn 62 when you're here, you can get it done here. It's a lot. It would be a lot better than having to do it back through the United States through the internet. Get it done here. It'd be a lot easier. So let's see. If you're coming to get married, make sure that you have everything together. The United States does not have what's called a CINAMAR, what they call it here. It's a CINAMAR is a certificate of no marriage. So that means that you are allowed to marry according to the Philippine government. Now, Filipinos, they have to have a CINAMAR. This allows them to be able to get married. So a non-Filipino, you would have to do it at the, it used to be, wow, I got a dry cough today. It used to be that you can go through the embassy and get one from your embassy. And 6 months ago, it could take a long time. It could take a really long time. So what you do now is you have to have an affidavit certifying that you are not married to someone in the United States. That can be done here through a lawyer and a notary. You just got to show that a sworn affidavit. I am not married, and I am therefore able to remarry in the United States. Question is, how was my first month? Well, I'm going through it. My first month has been very eventful. It's been very fun. Couple of days, with nothing to do, and which is fine. I noticed that, the people here in the house, everybody, has their role to play. And Arnell, basically, he's the farmer. He's the builder. He does all that kind of stuff. He's also a contractor, so he can work outside doing things like that, getting another family down the street will contract him to build a comfort room, and so he charges so much to do that. Or someone in town could want him to build a wall or something, so he contracts to do that. But right now it's been farming. There's a lot of rice field and corn farms. If you'll go look back on the video, you can see the rice fields, you can see the corn farms. Manang, she takes care of, basically, the women do the washing, the cooking, the cleaning of the house, and things like that. The men go out and they do the farm work. So there are roles, everybody fulfills their roles. And that's the way it is. I'm sorry, but Western women do not like being placed into roles or to be put in cages, as they would say. And they refuse to do anything. You know what? You're not going to like the Philippines because you will have a role to play. And the men have their their roles, the women have their roles, and everybody does according to their role. Philippines is great. Everybody's friendly. I have not encountered a rude person yet. They're all wanting to shake hands. They're all wanting to get to know you. And that's right now because I'm new here. So, I'm the oddity, and they're getting to learn more about me. The family that's here is great. They're loving. They're caring. They look toward, you know, each day is a new day, so they try not to let anything bother anybody. Some of the things that you can do is take walks. Like for me, I have to take a walk. Since I don't have a particular role except as a retire, since I don't have any other particular role, I have to take a walk, go and see what's going on. And usually someone in the family will accompany me. I think it's more for their satisfaction because, there are people, not everybody here in the Philippines is a happy person. There are some disgruntled people here, and I think it's more for my protection that they ensure that I have somebody with me. Going back, finances. Make sure that when you come, that your finances are good and stable. Like I said, you got your Social Security coming in. You can do it two ways. You can do it where it goes to your bank in the United States or whatever country you're from. But I know that in the United States, you can have it, the Social Security deposited here in the Philippines, such as in BDO or BPI or PNB, any of the banks here. But it has to be an account only for the your Social Security or your retirement, and then after that you have to pull all the money out of that account that day, and then because that's just the way the rules are. So mine is basically just going to my bank account in the United States. Make sure that your debit cards and everything are functionable. When you get here and you're coming here to stay for an extended period of time or retire here, make sure that your first month is not going to kill you. So make sure you're going to have all the money you're going to need for that first month, because you're going to have to get a place to live, pay for your electricity, pay for your internet. You're going to have to make sure that if you don't want to clean your own house, you're going to have to hire somebody to do it. You're going to need travel expenses. Like where I'm situated right here, we have a car here, we have a motorcycle, and we have a tricycle. So the situation here for me is a lot easier. And of course, I have a house here, that, we spend a lot of money in building. This house is, went through, I think, 4 years of building. So, and we're still not finished yet. There's still some areas that need to be done. Some of the finishing touches. So, initially, if you don't have a house and you're moving here for the first time, one, you're going to have to pay for a place to live, your electricity, in a lot of cases, your water, your internet. You're going to have to pay for foods, travel expenses. So you're going to have money for a tricycle or a cab, Uber, jeepney, whatever mode you want to use to travel. If you're living in the province, especially, you're going to need money to be able to travel from your place in the province to the city to do most of your shopping. So there's all kinds of things that you're going to need money for. So you're going to spend a lot of money initially when you first get here, especially if you're going to stay. If you're just coming here to visit and you're going to be here for a couple of months, then it's not a big issue. But if you're going to stay, yes, it's a big issue. So these things you got to watch out for. I think I went through, I don't know, maybe 150 to 200K within that first month because I had sent money prior to get some things already ready. So, you're going to experience a lot of initial payout. Once you get that done, once your initial payouts are done, then you don't have to worry about anything but maintenance. So maintain your electricity, maintain your rent, things like that. And then and what your rent will be basically, what it is that you're going to, how you want to live. I mean, if you want to live in a high rise in Manila, you're going to spend a lot of money for a high rise in Manila. If you're like me, you just want a simple life, a house with a family and people just love you just because they love you, that's wonderful. You can do that. You have no rent to pay, especially if you build your own house. You're not going to have a rent. Your only expenses are what you're going to pay to build your house. But you do have your electricity, your Wi-Fi. We have well water here, so we don't need to buy water. We have no water from the city. There's no city water. So, we pretty much got it taken care of. So these things, make sure all your paperwork is done. Have your paperwork with you. So if, for example, you're coming and while you're here, you happen to meet your forever partner, Filipina, make sure you have your birth certificate and any documentation to show that you are not married. So you need to make sure you have divorce papers. If you've been divorced, annulment papers if you've been annulled, and these kind of things. something to show that you are legally able to be married. So these are the kind of things that you want. If you don't plan on, and you not met your forever Filipina, then of course, you still have that information because you need it anyways for embassy purposes or for other reasons too. So it's good to have all this documentation. Any military papers you want to have with you, because that will help you with the VA here. We do have the VA here. So, you know, uh, all these kind of things are better for you if you have them. Make sure your finances are straightened where you have enough to carry you through that first month. Again, it depends on your lifestyle. I'm not a drinker. I'm not going to go out drinking my money away. I'm not a smoker. I'm not going to go out and smoke my money away. You know, but if you are that type and you have to go to the nightclub, make sure you have that money for you. Be careful how you spend it, because that pretty Filipino with those pretty eyes can walk you out of some money if you go to a nightclub. That money will be gone. My suggestion is if you want a partner here, look for a country girl and not a city girl. That's not to say all city girls are bad, but if you're going to nightclubs and places like that, high-end places, expect there to be a gold digger there. And that's what she's looking to do, is to take your gold. Let's see. The food is good. Just be careful not to eat too much of it. If you're not used to Asian food at all, don't just start digging into the food here. You got to get your stomach used to it. Some of the biggest things that expats have is the fact that they don't, they're not used to the food and the spices and things like that. So you got to make sure that you get used to it before you start going whole hog into the food, because so I'd say kind of mix it up, get a little bit of Western food during the week along with some Filipino food, and gradually over the next 2 weeks or so change slowly over to just Filipino food. From my own experience, I ran into that problem back in 2015, and I ran into that problem in 2015, eating too much Filipino food without being prepared for it. Let me try to think what else. If there's anything else that I need to mention. So what you spend here is going to be dependent upon your lifestyle, pretty much. If you lived extravagant, and you're from the United States and you lived a certain high-end lifestyle, well, you can get that here. You're going to spend a lot of money for it. So just be prepared. But if you're careful with your money, you could probably, for me here, and let's say I had no other expenses, because I've got the house, I've got the electricity, internet, already got furniture, blah, blah, blah. The expenses for food for me and the family here is about 10,000 pesos a month. We got a lot of people here, and it's about $200. So we'll say $300 total, and that will pay for the electricity, internet, food for everybody. Gas, maybe 3,000 pesos. And that's it. That's roughly it, unless we go out and do things. That's it. So we're looking at almost $400 a month. But I'm different. I have, like I said, I have my own house here. House is paid for, so there's no money to put, to give to a bank or anything like that. This house is paid for. Everything it was paid in cash. So, like I said, depending on your lifestyle, you can, you can live as cheaply, or you can live as extravagant as you want. And then if you live, the cheaper you live, the more money you save, that you could be able to go do things like go to Singapore, and every few months go like to Singapore, go to Vietnam, go to Thailand, or maybe even to Australia or New Zealand. So these things are available to you, if you just are careful with your money while you're here. And so anyways, that's my update. Trying to find my cursor here. There it is. So, anyways, thank you very much for joining me. And I know there aren't that many people here watching. Never are when I initially do this. It says I've got 3. So, most of the watches come later, after I've gone offline. So, thank you. Thank you, and God bless you, and let His face shine upon you and give you peace, and get that joy unspeakable and full of glory through His Spirit. In Jesus' name, I end this. Bye. How do I do this? How do I turn this off? Oh, this is going to be on there.